for the City Commission meeting of Monday, August 22nd, 2022 at 5:30 in the evening. Roll call, please.
Smith.
Here.
Weinreich.
Here.
Gregg.
Here.
Robish.
Present.
Mayor Harrington.
Here. Join me in the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, agenda approval. Do we have any additions or corrections to our agenda that anybody knows of? I have one, but anybody else has got one, we'll do that. Been asked to move our executive session in front of the work session tonight. We feel that that possibly could have something to do with our budget, so if there's entertain a motion to use.
Motion to approve the agenda with the change.
Okay, and a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Myers, need a second?
Second.
Commissioner Robish, second. Roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinreich.
Aye.
Gregg.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Okay, moving on. Public forum. Public comments may be sent during live meeting broadcasts on the city's YouTube channel. The link is listed on the city's website at www.huron.sd.gov. Click on Government and then City Commission. In order to use the YouTube chat feature, please create an account with YouTube and Gmail, or use your existing accounts. Please state your name and address to the public for the record. Public forum is limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per person. And do we have any public forum information for the commission tonight? Seeing none, do we have any from the audience? Seeing none. If there's any questions out there, our HR director, Nathan Hofer, is sitting on the computer at the back of the room. He will field any questions you have and give them to us if needs to be sent, and we'll try to answer them for you tonight. Okay, moving on. We're going to the City Commission will adjourn to convene as a Board of Adjustment for the following public hearings. And I'm going to call on our Planning Commissioner, Barry Cranston, to start out with 4.1.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The first variance is a variance requested by TBG Limited Partnership at the project address of 1726 Dakota Avenue South to allow a lot to be platted without frontage where code requires a minimum of frontage of 20 feet in an area zone B3 General Business District. As you can see, I've got this posted up on the smart board up there. What they're attempting to do is just simply plat off the tower and the equipment from the radio station property itself. They couldn't go all the way to the front of the road because of the 2 satellite dishes. So that's why they needed a variance. So they have agreed to, they were initially talking about a smaller parcel to be platted, but the owner has agreed to go ahead and plat it and clear back to the alley so they have alley access to the property itself. The only other issue that came up, and I don't know if you can see it, I'll try to zoom in on it. There is a part of that tower does overhang into what would be the radio station's platted or remaining parcel. And we've indicated that an easement should be sought between the radio station if there was ever new owners. That is a proposal that is on the table. The owners are over 80 and they are trying to downsize a little bit, so it is a possibility that they would sell the radio station. In that event, they would need an easement because that does sit on the radio station land and it would overhang into their property. So the hearing examiner, we had really had no opposition or support for this other than the applicant. We've had some call in and question whether the radio station was for sale after the hearing, But we have no knowledge about that or where they're at with that, if there is a transaction in place or not. So with that, the hearing examiner, along with staff, recommended approval based on this parcel being platted this way.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion.
Move to approve 4.1.
Motion to approve 4.1. I need a second.
Second?
Got a second from Commissioner Smith. Any questions from the commission on this item? Yes, Commissioner
So
Craig.
you mentioned, Barry, the easement. Is that something that's a condition of our variance, or is that something, how does that
It
direction get placed?
I mean, the hearing examiner recommended that. That's a legality between, I mean, the owners of the radio station, would own both parcels at this point. And so, there is a small dish on that tower that is owned and maintained by the radio station for the radio station. So it would be in their best interest, obviously, to make that happen. The hearing examiner did recommend that it be a condition of the variance, but that's a legal process for the owners and any potential new owner for the radio station, is my feeling on it, but.
Any other questions on this item?
So just to clarify, so if we approve it tonight without that stipulation, then that would be something that would be, we'd have no more control over, that would be left up to at the time of
Right,
sale.
and that's, I mean, they'd have to do that in order, otherwise they're gonna have a title commitment, encroachment.
Okay. Yes, Commissioner Roden.
Sorry about that, but I don't have my notes with me, so we're just splitting that lot? Is that what you're
Yes,
gonna do?
it's just parceling off that smaller parcel.
And there's a business through the front part.
Yeah, if the radio station, Chad, if you'll put that back up. Shouldn't have here. This is the parcel in yellow that would be platted off, and at this time would be retained by the owners. And now, maybe in the future sold off to different owners, but as of today, it would be retained as well as the radio station, even though there is talk of potential sale. We don't know if there's a transaction in process there. That's just, she was just in preparation if there is a potential sale. So, but the reason for the variance is because this parcel is what they needed where these satellites sit to have the 20-foot frontage along the street. And they don't have that. And so that's why we had them extended all the way to the alley back here to their property line, so that they do have they do have some kind of transportation access.
Oh.
We have a motion. Good to go on this? Roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Winrice.
Aye.
Red.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. 4.2, Barry, please.
Okay. 4.2 is a variance request filed by Legacy Design Group. Craig Larson is the architect for the project. Project address of 1815 Dakota Avenue South, which is currently the F&M Bank building, which I'll zoom in on here. And so that project is for the new Scooters Coffee drive-through coffee shop. And it's to construct a new drive-through coffee shop 15 feet from the north property line where code requires 20 feet front yard setback. Corner lots require 2 front yard setbacks. And so that's why that 20 feet came into play. This was simply to preserve the trees on that south property line. We didn't want to see, we as staff looked at this, and we did not want to see those trees removed. And if we pushed them, if we enforced that north 20-foot setback, that tree line was all gonna get taken out. Or at least damaged to a point where they were gonna die. So with that, the staff looked at that and that we just felt that was in the best interest of the community to allow a variance there. The hearing examiner agreed with that, and so he recommended approval as well. We had no opposition to this variance. In fact, there was, at the hearing, there was a gentleman in support of this who's a neighbor in the area.
Okay. Need a motion on this item?
Move to approve 4.2.
A motion to approve, need a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Bragg. Any questions on this item?
Just for the record, the owner is here. If you want to step up to the podium and just introduce yourself, please, sir.
Hello, I'm Grant Johnson, address 2209 Quiet Lane, Mitchell, South Dakota. I know my scooters team has been working with Barry a lot, so I'm not too familiar with all the plans that they've been working on. Me personally, scooters is hard to build in South Dakota because scooters is based out of Omaha, and as it's grown, it grows close to home. So I think Huron is the only town in South Dakota available. Being 40 minutes away from home and being in the scooters business, I'm thrilled to be part of the community. I was a landscaper, did concrete curbing. Huron was probably my favorite town I worked in. So to be part of this and hopefully bring scooters to Huron, I do see a need, but also I just love the town, so.
Very good. Any questions for? Thank you, sir, I appreciate it. Okay.
I guess I should say, I know, I had a couple comments, so, and I know the plans, the driveway will enter from 18th, not from
Right.
Dakota.
That's correct.
But I did have some public comment about, since we've had trouble with other driveways, so I did see that the plan doesn't call, so we won't have that issue of traffic backing up on Dakota. But
No.
I know I did have a few folks reach out to me about that, so thank you for getting that taken care of.
Okay.
So
Yes, Mr. Smith.
I am a little bit confused with the overlay design that they, map that they have on there. So the entrance off of Dakota Avenue would be a do not enter.
Right, it's exit only. And you'd be able to merge and go into that east traffic lane and queue up to go and get your coffee there. The menu board would be right there. On the menu, one of the menu boards would be on the southeast
Are there
corner.
parking, designated parking?
For
on the
employees
south side?
only.
Okay. So you come in off of 18th, eventually merge together on the east end,
On southeast, yep.
and then that's when it breaks down to
Right.
one lane, and
And
then
then-
exit back out on 18th.
Yeah, and they're anticipating, the architect is anticipating putting up traffic signs, directional signs within that drive-through area and paint on the asphalt to ensure people are going the right direction so that, he said it's gonna take a little coaching up because this double lane is something that's fairly new, but it is something that has worked in other communities.
So is there going to be some form of blockage, if you would, on the Dakota Avenue side so people don't peel in from,
It'll say, there'll be directional signs that say exit only on there,
okay?
just like there are today.
And the idea is when they're going to the east, that they stay in the loop, otherwise they're not gonna get their
Right.
product.
Right, and they would have to, they'll have to let each other in and,
Yeah. Because
Oh.
the drive-up delivery will be on the
Ooh,
north side of
right.
the building.
correct, and it'll be single lane there.
I get it now.
Okay.
We're good? We have a motion, we have a motion, so need a roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Monrice.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Bubish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Approved?
Congratulations.
Good deal.
We're happy you're coming to town.
Yes, we are. All right, Barry, let's go 4.3.
Okay, 4.3 is a variance request by JD Leasing LLC, doing business as Advanced Sunflower. Project address is 467 First Street Southwest to construct a new building on the existing foundation of the former city street shop. That will have a 0 feet setback from the west property line, where code requires a 15-foot setback. And then the setback on the north would be a 0, here it says a 0 feet from the north property line. However, the owners are here and we can talk about, they have agreed to shorten that north-south footage to meet that 20-foot setback on the north side. So, so that, yeah, that's in, and it's in an I-2 industrial zone, excuse me. Yeah, come on up, Jared.
Need a motion?
Move to approve.
Move to approve. I need Commissioner Roberts, second. I need a second.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Weimers. Okay, now, any questions for anybody?
There may be, and as we go through this, they may move the building back a matter of inches from that west property line to get inside of that raised lip a little bit. Just simply to give them some more uniform concrete to work with.
Well, let's talk about the north line as long as you're here,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, we originally just planned on doing 218 foot, but we've decided to go 180 now to get us off that setback on the north side. So we shouldn't be
There shouldn't be any encroachment
There's
on the
not
north side there.
existing foundation on that.
Yeah, there is right on the property line there, but we'd come to the south of that farther.
Okay.
The building, the original street shop building was literally built right on the property lines on the north and the west side. Then when these guys came with a plan, they'll be working with Randy Hoscheid, who's doing the structural engineering assessment to ensure that the concrete will support, they've got a plan for those areas to put in a covering concrete layer and to kind of beef that up a little bit to hold snow loads, and it'll be a steel building, it'll be a nice looking building, and so so the staff looked at it, and with all of the things that they're willing to do to make the site work, we had no problem with it. Chris had some comments in his section about the building. One of the things we'll be, working with them, they'll be working with the engineering section, giving them drainage plans so we don't send water down, into somebody's backyard, because that's a lot of surface water from that rooftop. So we'll work with them on that, but we recommend approval, as did the hearing examiner. Again, no opposition here. We've had some people call in just to say, what are you doing? But that's really about the only inquiries we've had.
Good. Good.
Any other questions? Rick? Yes, Commissioner Ray.
So you talked about the north-south, so it's only a 66-foot wide building, so will you have, maintain some courtyard space then, like the old building used to have next to it, or what's your plan? 'Cause
Well, we talked to Barry a little bit, and we won't be parking on the east side. We'll be parking on the east side of the building, so there shouldn't be.
On the west side.
We're on the west side, and Barry kind of recommended an overhang on the east side of or on the west side of the building, so.
But so you'll have vehicles or so, like parking surface on the east side?
East side, yep.
And then, so that, all of the building inspectors' comments in terms of fire rating and all that, so we'll have to do the 3-hour firewall and all that as well.
On the west side, but on the north side, they'd no longer have to do that.
Perfect.
So we will monitor that as part of the building permit process
Perfect.
and inspections.
Thank you.
I just have
Commissioner
just a
Smith.
quick question. On the north side, then, if you're pulling back south, what's your plan with that?
Well,
buffer? Is
we
it
were
just
gonna
be
leave it
open?
open for now and leave it open for any future, just leave it bare. I mean, we'll do whatever you guys recommend with it after the fact, if you want something done, the footings tore out or something, but, it's just gonna be open space for right now.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinrice.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Robich.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to our consent agenda.
Adjourn.
Pardon me?
Reconvene.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I do every time we read it. Need to reconvene as city commission. Okay?
Just for point of order, adjourn the, just for complete clarity for past issues, adjourn the Board of Adjustment and then reconvene.
Okay. We'll adjourn the Board of Adjustment and now we'll reconvene. Thank you so much for the correction. I'm gonna move on here. All right, now we'll go to the consent agenda. Matters appearing on the consent agenda are expected to be non-controversial and will be acted upon by the commission at one time without discussion unless a member of the commission requests an opportunity to address any given item. Items removed from the consent agenda will be discussed at the beginning of the formal items. They are tonight, 6.1, minutes of August 15th City Commission meeting. 6.2, fuel quotes for city departments. 6.3, raffles, central chapter of credit unions for multiple dates at Huron businesses. 6.4, personnel items, recognize the resignation of Jesse O'Neill from the part-time seasonal street position. 6.5, payment of the bills. Entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Commissioner Robish moves to approve. Need a second.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Smith. Roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinrice.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Robich.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Moving on to 7, bid quote items, and we're going to call on our assistant engineer, Dennis Bennett, tonight to go over the 3 items. 7.1, please, Dennis.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. This is a payment, progress payment for the storm sewer going around the Dex building that you relocated. The bill to us is $686,558.15, but this has ARPA money in it that will cover up to $720,000. And this leaves us about $32,000 in there yet, so recommend approval.
Move to approve.
Move to approve. Commissioner Bragg, need a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Smith. Any questions for Dennis on this item?
I have a question, Mayor.
Yes, Commissioner Smith.
So is that ARPA money limit specific just to this project?
Yes.
The water sewer, or the sewer?
Just the storm sewer, we had, this was allocated $720,000 for this project, nothing else.
Okay, thank you.
Doesn't include what we have for water main replacement and stuff like that.
All right. Seeing no further questions, roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinrice.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Robich.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Dennis, 7.2, please.
Okay, thank you. This is for the propane quote. I've talked to a couple suppliers and they're, with the market right now, no one knows, but they think this is probably the best time. One thing they did request is to go to a yearly contract instead of 6 months. So we changed the date on that, that's the only thing different. And then Parks and Rec have the Bergman Arena, they have small tanks there. They asked if we could have those filled at site or picked up at site, and that is included in here now, so. Recommend ask approval, go to bid. Quote.
Move to approve 7.2.
7.2, moved to approve by Commissioner Weinrich,
Second.
second Commissioner Bragg. Any other questions for Dennis on this?
I would have a question as far as coinciding with calendar. So October 1st is when that contract would go into effect.
Yep,
And I would assume that our current contract ends on September,
our current contract actually ended in April.
okay, we've just been going month to month kind of thing.
Yep.
Probably haven't had a lot of need for propane, have
We
you?
don't have a lot in the summer, but it just protects us from spikes or
Yeah.
shortages or whatever.
Commissioner Bragg?
Is there a concern, I guess I would just ask the question, if you guys, that 6 month to 12 month, again, just because of the volatility right now, are we worried about locking in prices right now?
Before winter is the main concern.
But just as far as moving to 12 month versus 6 month?
When I talked to them, they just thought it could help them get a little better price maybe, because it's not in this window, it's in this window. We're still gonna use the same amount approximately, so.
See no other questions? Roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinreich.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Rovich.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. All right, to the final bid quote item, 7.3, Dennis.
All right, this is a different one. This was for a pickup. We're gonna buy off state bid in February of 2021. Since then, things have changed. There is no longer state bid per se, and the pickup came in, but the price went from $27,728 to $37,769. And I don't see us getting around those prices for a while, so we recommend approval.
Okay. Need a motion?
So moved, 7.3.
7.3, motion to approve. Commissioner Weinrich, need a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Rovich. Questions for Dennis on this item? Yes.
Just a
Mr.
point
Weinrich.
of information here, we did have, as you can see in the packet, 31,000 was budgeted, so we're about 6,000 over budget. And notated in there that Iversons did remove their commission off the markup on this new truck.
Yes, Mr. Rovich.
Thank you. When you say there's no more state bid, there's not going to be, or there's,
I would be skeptical if we see state bid in the near future on vehicles at least, because they're still having problems stocking their lots. The fleet sales really isn't their priority, there's no profit in it. That's Dennis's opinion.
is that gonna be, this is just on the smaller vehicles, how are we looking like on our trucks and stuff? I mean, that's that Mac.
That's that VW grant,
VW.
that is on order, we're locked in there, so we should be good there. But if they pull a force majeure or something on us, we got no control.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
And if we were, like you said, there's no reason to expect anytime real soon, but, I mean, I guess if you just ask the question, how bad do we need that truck? I mean, we'd be looking at probably waiting at least 2 years before we can expect the prices to return back to anything potentially normal, which I know is speculation, but I mean,
Right.
can we go 2 years without replacing that truck?
Depends on who you ask.
That's exactly right. How bad do you want them?
Well, smaller vehicles, we're probably better off than we are with trucks.
Yeah, your percentage of markup is smaller and smaller, yeah.
But we should be better off that
But that, yeah, probably what we're going forward, we'll be buying stripper trucks at list or whatever instead of state bid. Until that gets straightened out, which 27 maybe, I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah.
Discussion of the capital assets meeting was good. purchase because they're probably just gonna keep going up
Yep.
to use the secondary reserves.
Well, if at this point Iverson's is still stepping up to help out, we might as well take advantage of that.
Okay. Need a roll call vote on this item?
Smith,
Aye.
Weinrice,
Aye.
Bragg,
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Okay. Moving on to ordinances and resolutions, City Attorney Tucker Valesky will talk to us about 9.1.
Thank you, Mayor. 9.1, first reading of ordinance 2237-15-23, naming of the land court. Consider setting the second reading for August 29th.
Motion,
Move to approve.
Commissioner Smith, motion to approve.
Second?
Second, Commissioner Robish. Any questions on the Lampe Court on this item? All right, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Smith,
Aye.
Weinrice,
Aye.
Bragg,
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. 9.2, Mr. Valesky.
Thank you, Mayor. 9.2, first reading of ordinance number 2238-11-16, park regulations, overnight camping prohibited. Consider setting the second reading for August 29th. So just a little bit of background on this. The Park and Rec Board passed a resolution requesting that the city attorney draft an ordinance prohibiting overnight camping in our parks. I drafted that ordinance. The Park and Rec Board considered it and approved it, and now it is before the commission for its consideration.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Bragg, motion to approve. Second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Weinrich. Any questions on this item?
Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner Smith.
just for clarity because we've dabbled in the campsites ordinances in the past, just for clarity, I'd like to read what the ordinance actually is to avoid confusion. That is, no person shall camp or establish or maintain a campsite overnight or longer in any park within the city of Huron, except persons authorized pursuant to an overnight camping permit. We've, like I said, we've dabbled back and forth on some ordinances for campgrounds, mainly designed around the state fair, but this does not pertain to those previous ordinance requests, so.
And this came out of, quite frankly, I thought we probably already had something that said this. I mean, the parks close at 10, but we have had, at times, a few folks that have chosen to use some of the public parks as a place to stay. And so when we were working between Parks and Rec and the police to approach those folks and give them direction on why they couldn't be there, I directed them to pull the ordinance and direct the folks that it was not allowed via ordinance, and we found out at that time that there wasn't specifically an ordinance. So that was the purpose of this. So now if we did have that come up, just for the sake of clarity for the police and Parks and Rec, everybody's working off the same documentation.
All right, any other questions on this item? Discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Smith,
Aye.
Weinrice.
Aye.
Bragg,
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Okay, now we're going to go to executive session. Oh, departmental items there. I'll take this. Consider landfill use renewal agreement with the city of Pierre and authorize the mayor to sign. And Commissioner Bragg, do you have anything to add to that?
I just do a quick summary. I know you probably handled you, but it's come time to do that right now. We take our solid waste to Pier. Before just signing that again, Dale Fortin had done research throughout the state, considered all the possible options, including cost of fuel and transportation, as well as the cost per ton, and did arrive at the fact that even though it's a slight increase over our current rate, continuing a contract with Pier is the most economical option.
Need a motion?
So I would move to approve this, Mr. Mayor.
Need a second on that item.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Wyrick. Any more questions for Rich on this item, Commissioner Bragg?
I do have a
Yes,
question.
Commissioner Smith.
In the ordinance, it is stating for a period of 3 years commencing Jan. 1, 2023, but then it ends in December 31, 2027.
Yeah, so previously, it had always been the same rate during the entire term. Period this time did request a step in pricing.
Yeah.
So there's the total term of the agreement, but then there is a price change within that term. So there is a price increase during the course of the contract.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on this item? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Smith,
Aye.
Weinrice,
Aye.
Bragg,
Aye.
Robish,
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye.
Maybe, maybe not.
It's a tough one. Okay, now we'll go into executive session. And that'll follow with a work session.